As you know, I'm studying a postgraduate degree in baking and pastry arts management, and as part of my course I'm taking an extra subject to know a little more about other branches of study. There were different subjects to choose from: politics, literature, forensic sciences, yes, even that one. A little far from my background of culinary, but my choice, I say with a little grace, was due to a music album that I found quite significant for me. Different Types of Light, it's an album written by the artist Carlos Sadness in 2018. And this time, in this video, we will see the science behind the art. Particularly the song Hale Boop and some of the methods that astronomy uses to study the different types of light. The magnificent Hale Boop. Comet Hale Boop is probably one of the most widely observed comets in the 20th century, and one of the brightest ever seen. His passage through Earth incited a certain level of concern in the population because there is the idea that comets are carriers of great events.
Through history, comets have been seen as predictors of great events.
Rumors were even spread that a large alien ship was following him, prompting a mass suicide among followers of the Heaven Gates cult, but I'll tell you about that later. How astronomers discovered it. It was discovered on July 23, 1995, by the way, that's the year of my birth, by astronomers Alan Hale and Thomas Boop independently in Cloudcraft, New Mexico. They were exploring the celestial sphere, a fancy name for the night sky, when they perceived an unclassified distant object that turned out to be this comet. This astro created a great expectation that it would be very bright and magnificent when it passed close to Earth. The brightness of a comet is very difficult to predict exactly, but Hale Boop exceeded all expected when it showed a splendid, brilliant light even visible for the naked eye on April 1, 1997, called the Great Comet.
Hale Boop is 120 million miles away, but can still be seen with the naked eye.
Astronomers have had unprecedented opportunities to take Hale Boop spectra at wavelengths in the optical, infrared, and radio ranges, while the comet has evolved and has detected a wide range of molecular compounds. The orbit of the comet. Hale Boop is not a comet at all ordinary. When calculating its orbit, it turned out to be 7.2 astronomical units from the Sun, placing itself between Jupiter and Saturn at the greatest distance to Earth that any other comet discovered. Most comets at this distance are barely noticeable. For example, Halley Comet is 50,000 times less luminous at the same distance from the Sun. Several estimates have been made of the size of the comet nucleus, ranging from 15 kilometers to 40 kilometers, measured by observation made with the Hubble Space Telescope. If it's closer to 15 kilometers, that would put the comet in the class of the large comets, while if it's next to 40 kilometers, that would do so within the giants and would mean that it has a diameter 50% larger than that one of the Halley. What is spectroscopy and which telescopes do they use to investigate it? When a comet or other astro is discovered, different telescopes and spectrographs are used to investigate them. Spectroscopy is the study of the interaction between electromagnetic radiation and matter, with absorption or emission of radiant energy. To do this, a spectrograph is used, which separates the different wavelengths of light before they hit the detector. The graphing of the relative brightness of light at each wavelength showed the detail in a spectrum. This is called imaging. The Hubble telescope has been particularly used to investigate this comet because ground-based telescopes cannot capture all the information that scientists would like, affected by meteorological factors and light pollution generated by larger cities. The Hubble Space Telescope is one of the most renowned space telescopes in modern astronomy, orbiting outside of Earth's atmosphere. The advantage of having a telescope on the ground is that it goes beyond the distortion produced by the Earth's atmosphere. This way, the effect of atmospheric turbulence can be eliminated. The atmosphere significantly absorbs electromagnetic radiation at certain wavelengths, especially in the infrared, decreasing the quality of the image and making it impossible to acquire certain spectra. What is a comet? Its characteristic and composition? Hale Boop is a comet. By this, we mean a celestial body consisting of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, potassium, and sulfur that orbits around the star, in this case, the Sun. The comet should not be confused with an asteroid, since although they seem similar, asteroids are usually larger than comets and are composed of rock and metal. So they are almost not affected at all by the heat of the Sun. Because of this, they have no tail. Comets are composed of flammable organic compounds which are thought to have arisen from the remnants of the formation of the solar system, and thanks to this they have very long tails. Particularly, Hale Boop has two tails, one formed by blue gas pointing directly towards the Sun and the other tail formed by yellow dust. One of the most recent discoveries using the spectrometer and analyzing the different wavelets, which analyze the different types of light, because yes, light is a wavelet, is that the comet has a third type of tail, one somewhat fainter than the others compounded of sodium, in other words, salt. Yes, similar to that we use in the kitchen. Sodium emissions had previously been observed in other comets, but had not been seen coming from a tail. Comet Hale Boop's sodium tail consists of neutral atoms and lengthens for 50 million kilometers. The source of sodium appeared to be on the inside, though not necessarily in the core. There are several mechanisms by which a source of sodium atoms could be generated, including collisions between dust grains surrounding the nucleus or pulverized sodium from dust grains by ultraviolet light. Another interesting fact is that it has been found that the proportion of deuterium in Comet Hale Boop in the form of heavy water is twice that in the oceans of the Earth. If such a ratio were normal across all comets, this finding would demonstrate that comet impacts cannot be the single source of water from Earth's oceans, although they can be the source of a significant portion, as is often thought. Controversies. Well, it's now time to spill the tea about this. Historically, in many cultures, comets has been seen as bad omens.
Through history, comets have been seen as predictors of great events.
And it was no exception with this spectacular astro, which became the center of many strange beliefs and theories. In November 1996, amateur astronomer Chuck Schreck of Houston, Texas, took an image of the comet showing a slightly elongated, blurry object following its course. When his computer program did not identify the object with any known star, Schreck called the Art Bell radio show to announce that he has discovered an unidentified flying object, following the Hale Boop. Alien enthusiasts quickly concluded that there was a spacecraft following the comet. Months later, the Heaven Gates cult took the comet appearance as a sign to carry out their collective suicide. They claimed that they were leaving their earthly bodies to travel in the spacecraft that followed the comet. Sadly, it was found that these were only poorly taken photographs and there was no alien trace following this spectacular comet that for many others who had the opportunity to observe it was instead a beautiful celestial event. Conclusion. The comet Hale Boop will be observable by large telescopes at the magnitude of 30 degrees until the end of 2020. After this date, it will be difficult to locate and distinguish it within the large numbers of distant galaxies that have a similar brightness for a few years. This comet, one of the most famous in history, has extraordinary qualities and a particular mysticism that enchanted art to inspire magnificent creations such as the songs that gave birth to this project, and surely many more people to enter the world of astronomy. Hi! Well, as you know, this video is a little long, but also I wanted to be a little extra So I'm going to show you how to make a galaxy-inspired cupcakes inspired in Comet Hale. So let's go. These cupcakes are going to be chocolate lavender because you know the galaxy has some blue and purple and pink colors, so for me the galaxy would taste like lavender, even though I have seen several videos about astronauts telling their experience in the space and they assure us the space smells more like burned metal. So I guess a more accurate taste to the space would be a barbecue, but well, this is a dessert. So we are going to make the chocolate lavender cupcakes, and you will need 144 grams of cake mix. I use this one, the Betty Crockers. When I was a kid, I always wondered why it said devil's food. I thought it was like something bad, but I guess it's just a name. I still don't know why, but it's good for Halloween. You also are going to need 1 egg, 31 milliliters of oil, 10 grams of powder milk or 100 grams of regular milk. You can use whichever you prefer. And also I wanted to tell you, I'm only going to make 1/4 of the recipe because this is for 24 cupcakes and I'm only going to make 6. So if you want to make more, you can do all the box, but you will need 4 times these ingredients. So first, I'm going to pour my 10 grams of powder milk in a cup, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of lavender. I got this one from AliExpress, but I guess you can get it in Amazon or in different stores. Or even you can cultivate it yourself. You only need to buy 1 lavender plant, maybe in summer when they sell a lot of plants. And over this I'm going to pour 100 milliliters of water. In this we are making something similar like a tea. I'm extracting all the flavor from the lavender. I don't know if you can see it, but the milk turns a little purple. That's nice, but because this is chocolate, we cannot see it like in the real cake. But if you use something like vanilla mix, then you can have a little purple cake. So I'm gonna let it be until it's cold. Maybe half an hour. Well, this is the tray I'm going to use. So now I'm going to pour over some oil. I like to use the spray oil sometimes. This is for grilling apparently, but I have checked the ingredients and most of them are just the same, so I don't understand the difference, but this is very useful. If you don't have it, you can use a little melted butter or some regular oil, and it's ready. Now that we have our tray, the process is really easy. You just need to pour your butter, the oil, the egg, and last we are going to add our milk. I'm going to use this stuff. This is for tea. I didn't use it because I wanted to show you how the milk looks. You can see it's more purple now, but you can even use it if you do the same procedure I did. So we are going to filter the milk, and then all we need to do is to mix it. Now that we have our batter, I'm going to divide it in the tray. And now I'm going to bake it from 15 minutes to 19 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit. This is what I'm reading here. You can have different kinds of cakes, but we are making the cupcakes. So yeah, it's from 15 to 19 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit. These are the cupcakes. They turned very good, so now we are going to put them out of the oven so they could cool. Now for the galaxy-inspired buttercream, we are going to use 150 grams of room temperature butter, 150 grams of powdered sugar, and also we are going to make 2 buttercream colors. We are going to make blue. This one is from Wilton. It's the delphinium blue, and we're going to use the Christmas red to make purple, because you can buy all rainbow colors, but if you are like me and you would like to save money, you can mix them. You just need blue, red and yellow to make most of the colors, because those are the primary colors. So maybe we are going to use 2 drops of blue, and for the other one we are going to use 1 drop and 1 drop. But also we are going to use sideral sparkles. As you can see, they are stars and moons. These ones I got them from Michael's, the handcraft store, and these ones are from the Sweet Tooth Fairy. As you can see, they have some other sprinkles in here. I need to separate it because I wanted the white shimmery moons and the stars, but this one also had some blue hearts that I'm going to use probably for another recipe. I'm using now this paddle attachment for the butter. We are going to need to cream it until it's kind of white, because we want it very light and fluffy. We are going to cream it in first speed about 5 minutes, or when we see it's really white. As you can see now, the butter it's different. It's almost white, and in this time we are going to add the sugar. We are going to add it in 3 parts. And we are going to mix it still in speed 1. As you can see, the buttercream gets a little stuck in the bottom. So now we are going to use this tool to help it go down. And then we're going to add some more sugar. And we continue to mix on speed 1. It's looking creamy and nice. And before I add the rest of the sugar, I'm going to add blue food coloring so it turns blue. We are going to take some of it to make it purple, but as we need to combine blue with red, it's okay to make it all blue at this time. I'm gonna put in here just a little tiny bit of the blue food coloring, and I open it, and as you can see, it paints a lot, so you only need a tiny bit, and you are going to put it on your butter. And then we mix again in first speed. Now, as you can see, we have a very nice blue color. So I'm going to take a little bit of it, I'm going to put it on a dish, and then we are going to make the purple one. Just as we did before, I'm going to put the red color in the butter. And then we just need to mix it until it's purple. We just needed to mix like about 30 seconds, and we got a very beautiful purple color. It looks like magic, almost. So now we are going to mix the bowl in a pastry bag. We are going to put it under a cup. In this way it's going to be easier. So we are going to mix them. We are going to take a little bit of the purple and then a little bit of the blue. And we are going to continue this until we finish. And now you just need to close the bag. You need to help the buttercream to go to the bottom. Here you can see the mix of the colors. The cupcakes are ready, as you can see. You need to wait until they are very cold, so they don't melt your butter. And I'm going to cover them with some nice black cupcake cups. You can bake them inside them, but in this way they don't get stuck in the paper. The next and last step is very easy. You just need to pour over the cupcakes your Galaxy buttercream. And for the final result, we just need to add the sprinkles.
Siempre me haces las mismas preguntas. Tradúceme lo que dice el silencio. No existe ruido en el universo, pero aprendiste a escuchar todo lo que yo pienso. Guardo un recuerdo casi perfecto, lo reproduzco un poco más lento. Creo que puedo volver al lugar, pero no al momento. Y sé que el color es solo una longitud de onda que llega siempre donde estás tú. Cuando volveremos al momento, cuando aprenderemos a parar el tiempo. Cada día que pasa estás más lejos y estamos dejando nuestro amor desierto. Ahora estamos más lejos que nunca. Tú siempre me haces las mismas preguntas. ¿Cuándo volveremos? Tú siempre